he used the structure called the discipline and doctrine to do what he had to do to pastor this church. Okay? Now, if the discipline and doctrine, we done spent all this money and went to to get it all changed. We done had meetings, done to fine tune it. And if it's just thrown out, how are people going to be educated to know what the structure is? His push is structure, education. If you don't educate your people, they ain't going to know, and they're going to leave.
That's good. Any other comments before we go to the next question? Now, one thing you said that I want all the current and future pastors to hear, and I can't say it exactly the way you said it, but in so many words you said, Reverend Halls didn't just walk in here on a bed of ease.
Right.
And I think it's important that all pastors understand, as great as you may think you are, when you set foot in there, somebody don't like you.
Yes.
But the key is, how do you respond to that? And so that was very proud. Preaching, teaching, administration, pastoral care. I mentioned those four again. Preaching, teaching, administration, pastoral care. In an emerging church, which are the most important and why? Preaching, teaching, administration, pastoral care.
I would say that probably my weakest area is probably the most important. And I don't have a problem preaching, and I'm gifted to teach. But because I move so much, I have to make sure that I force myself to take care of my responsibilities as it relates to pastoral care. That's my weakness. That's the area that I always ask Michael Mitchell, please help me. I need you to show me what you do so that I can try to pattern myself behind the way that you do your pastoral care, because I know that that's the area that I can get so busy with everything that's going on in this community that the pastoral care piece that I can neglect it. So I think it's the most important, but I just want to preface it and say it's my weakest area.
Great answer, great confession.
Pastoral care is truly the primary pastoral care truly is at the forefront of what we do. If you take care of your people, if you take care of your congregation and they know that you care about them, my pastor, Bishop Mitchell, truly, there was not an event that a child at that church had that he wasn't there. Even if he had 3 of them at the same time, he's going to come and show his face, let that child, let you know he's there, then he's going to get in his car, he's going to go to the next one. And he did this consistently. I was blessed because my family was not able to be there for graduation. And he was in Texas. And I said, no, sir, don't come to Virginia. It's okay. I'm just flying up and I'm flying back. He met me at the airport. Thank God he was there because they messed up my rental car. So I had to ride with him. But he does what he has to do. He let all 1,200 of us at that church know that he cares. And I'm thankful for him as my mentor and my spiritual father, because I picked up those same traits.
Yeah. One thing to that.
You got 2 minutes, take your time.
Pastoral care undergirds everything. Because when you care for people, you care for the church, and you trust God, and it all fall in place. But I want to just mention one thing about my fraternity brother, my friend Dr. Mitchell, Bishop Mitchell. I've seen him many a days running up and down the road. I mean, I would be in Orlando, and I have to run to Jacksonville or Lake City to see a member, and I'm seeing him on the road. I'm like, wait a minute, I just saw him in Orlando. He's flying down the road to go see somebody in the hospital, go to a graduation. I don't know how he did it, but he showed up. He showed up when I least expected, and I think it was a model for me too, Pastor Ron. There are days, I tell people, as you run with Bishop, I said, and other people, they're wonderful. I said, but when on first Sundays, I would see Pastor Mitchell, certain other pastors in the community, in the hospital, in the nursing home, 4 or 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, still with the collar on, so we have to be there. But it undergirds all of it.
And let me just press this. Although Bishop Mitchell had a full staff of pastors and ministers up under him, he took it as his job to be at each one of those events. He didn't ask Sister Pat, Reverend Pat. He didn't call me and say, Stephanie, I need you to go to such and such. He went. As a pastor, we have to go above and beyond. We can't be at everything, but utilize your staff members. Utilize those up-and-coming ministers. Utilize those ministers that you have on staff to, if you have to run to the hospital, let them do Bible study.
And I think what's key in emerging churches, and that's what we want to focus on, emerging churches. You can flunk on a sermon because you always got next Sunday for teaching. Okay? And this is what I learned from my father in the ministry, Pastor Prop. He said, you can flunk on a sermon because you can come back next week. Praise the Lord. But you can't flunk on when that member needs you in that critical situation. Mm-hmm. And I think we all have Bishop Mitchell stories. I started going to high school graduation because he was doing it. I never forget a general conference went to, and he, this is before he became bishop, but he was still on his way to becoming a bishop. And when he found out that the St. Stephen bus had arrived, he said, come on, go with me. I'm like, where are we going? And I thought we were going to the front of the bus to greet the people as they were getting off the bus. Next thing I know, he got me under the luggage rack, taking the luggage of his members off. So we all can learn from Bishop Mitch, but also we can learn from each other. And I think the lesson here, again, in emerging church situations, excuse this expression, but when you go into those country churches, the people want to know that you care about them. Okay? And that's what's so critical, what's so important. You gotta learn how to, go to some houses, bless that food in the name of Jesus, and eat it. You can preach as hard as you want. You preach it and they're thinking he wouldn't eat my potato salad. But now you ate that potato salad, it doesn't matter what you say. You could be talking about the Gospel of Matthew in the Old Testament. They say, hey, amen, Pastor, in the Old Testament. Because you ate that potato salad. So pastoral care is critical. And let me say that I'm going to Reverend. Because now we're in a dispensation where you have to go to seminary. Trust me when I tell you, in your first charge, they could not care less about your Greek and your Hebrew. It's important to you. It's really important, but at the service level, they want to know if you're going to be there when they're sick. If you're going to be there I never forget when I went to Stark, there was a funeral of one of my members' third cousin or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But I went. And man, you would have thought I was the Pope or somebody. So my pastor showed up. See, that's my pastor. That's my new pastor. That's all they cared about was my pastor was there. So make sure you get that because pastoral care, I agree with Reverend Rawls, and I love the fact that we all have, Reverend Mitchell's strength was pastoral care. Yeah. He just said that's not his strength. And that's what we have to do. We have to understand what our strengths and weaknesses are. But pastoral care is one area that has to be done by somebody. Yes, sir.
So, question. So how do we deal with the situation with someone if they were to come back to whether it's your son in the ministry or whatever? Pastoral care, you did all that. You got pastoral care, you're loving on the people, you're here, you're doing this, you're doing that. And you still feel like it's not getting you anywhere. And I know the next question next comment you will hear was, God knows, and this. But what I'm saying is, when you got that person that feels that they're doing all this thing you guys just said under pastoral care, they're out there, they're in nursing homes, they're doing all this stuff here, and it still feels like their members don't care nothing about them. That's how this person is feeling. That's how do you? Because I know we can talk about all this stuff, but how do you combat that side?
Okay.
Well, that's a good question, and unfortunately, my answer is why we do it. And but that's my reality. Here at St. Paul, I know the image that I want us to have in our church, and out of the community, I know how I want them to look at us. And then I can remember someone who I have a great relationship with now. It was a family that I really struggle with, that I saw that if I don't deal with this, that this church is not going to be able to grow. And there was a big incident out in the streets, outside the family and friends day one time, police and everything, right down the road. And I went and dealt with the situation. And it was so ugly. It was some people that played key roles in our church, and then I went to that discipline. And then I began an expulsion process.
Yes.
With that offered an opportunity to sign a paper to be on a probationary period. And I was told by folk that I was here when that yellow end got here, and I was here before that yellow end got here, and I'll be here after that yellow end leaves. But I still had to love them. And even though I knew that they didn't like me, I still, and I still had to love despite how they feel. As people in the church right now, I still have to love that I know that, but what the exciting piece is that when time passes, that you see God bringing relationships together that should, now some of my most committed people are the same people that President Glover said will run through a wall for you, the same people and particular person that said she was here before this yellow end got here and to be here when this yellow end, that same person will run through a brick wall to make sure that what her pastor wants, that her pastor is going to get. There was nothing that I could ever do to make that happen other than just disregard how I knew she felt about me. And so it really deeply has to be that I'm doing this for a whole nother reason.
Amen.
And not the particular people that are standing in front of me.
Amen.
We've got about 10 more minutes, so I want to make these answers a little short. Give me one more question, then we have here and then here.
Question. Because I'm saying to you, I know we saying that people come back with their love and the reason I'm asking this because we've had where pastors have turned in keys to churches and stuff like that. It happens. So when I said that, when you got that pastor that's doing all this pastoral care, doing all this stuff under pastoral care, and they get to that point where they done all this, and they feel that it's not being reciprocated, they feel that those people are not caring for them, and they get to that point where they want to turn in keys, or where we got pastors walking away from churches. How do you deal with that? I mean, how do we deal with that pastor? How do we talk to that pastor? Because it's a tough thing. I know we're going to go.
Yeah, let me try to answer that quickly. First of all, to what Reverend Ross said, sometimes there's not a direct cause and effect to where you're performing pastoral care and you get that immediate positive feedback. Sometimes it takes time, and sometimes it just won't happen. Every one of us has a story like his. Now, they never call me yellow because I'm not quite as light, okay? But I had people that also told me I was here at Wayman when you got here, and I will be here when you leave. And I'm in my 22nd, 23rd year. Some of those people are going on. I don't know where. They're going on. So you're not always going to get that. And then everything we do, three things. That's one. Secondly, the word says everything we do it as unto the Lord. And so we would like to receive those accolades, but we've got to get to them. We're human. We want to hear them. But we got to grow ourselves to the point that whether we hear those accolades or not, we know we're doing it unto the Lord. And then thirdly, I think we just have to make sure that we're in relationship